Hi, it's Lucy, and today I'm here to do my February TBR. As you can tell by the title, and also if you live in America / I don't know how many countries celebrate Black History Month in February, but anyway, February is Black History Month. I will be celebrating how I always do on this channel, or how I have in the past couple of years, by having the majority of the books that I read be by Black authors. I will be taking part in the Blackathon readathon, which was created by Jesse from Bow Ties and Books, and they have a bunch of other hosts for each of the separate teams that Blackathon does now, which basically there are teams that are themed around different genres of books, and there are booktube hosts and Instagram hosts. So I'll just read those off for now in case you want to check them out. The other hosts are Luxurious Blue, Never Without a Book, The Wandering Reader, Word Wonders, Chanel Time, Starla Enjoys, and LucieReads. All of their info will be on the Blackathon social media, which I will link down below. And if you couldn't tell by the title of the readathon, the goal of the readathon is just like the goal of how I'm reading this month anyway, to read books by Black authors. Like I said, they have a bunch of teams based on genres. I will not be participating in the teams in the way that they expect, maybe. I am participating in the same way I did last year, where I chose a challenge from each of the teams, and I'm gonna do that instead of joining a specific team. Why? Because I want to, and who is gonna stop me? Exactly. Before we get into that, I do want to talk about some other books that I will be reading, starting with the books that I'm currently reading. Also, there are other readathons and events going on in the book community for Black History Month, so I will be doing my best to link in the description box down below the ones that I know about that you may want to take part in. So let's talk about my currently reading. I'm currently reading two books. The first book is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I did it. I started it. You know, I'm 60% through the book. This is a feat for me because on my channel last month, you will know that this is part of my 2022 TBR, and I'm finally reading it. It was part of my 2021 TBR, but we don't talk about that. So I'm 60% through. I was hoping to have this finished in January, but it didn't happen. So I'll just continue on reading it into the month of February. I am listening to the audiobook, which I would recommend. Michelle Obama reads it herself. She's good at telling her own story, in my opinion. The other book that I'm currently reading is Sunny G's Series of Rash Decisions by Navdeep Singh Dhillon. This is likely the only book that I will be reading this month that's not by a Black author. I started it in January, and I would like to just finish it. I have no reason that I'd really want to put it down, so I'd rather not do that. This follows a boy named Sunny G, who finds his recently deceased brother's old notebook, and he decides that he's going to fill it with his own series of rash decisions. And among these rash decisions have been his decision to take off his turban and cut his hair and shave his beard, which were all things he was doing as part of his Sikh religion. Another rash decision was for him to forego the usual cosplay party that he goes to with his friends every year and actually go to prom. And while he's there, things go sideways when a girl there decides to steal his notebook, and Sunny is stuck chasing her around throughout the night to try and get his notebook back, I guess. I haven't gotten that far yet. I am currently like 11% through the book. I'm enjoying it so far. Like the synopsis may suggest, it seems like it's going to go a little bit deeper because it's dealing with the main character's grief from his older brother passing away. And it seems like his older brother also dealt with some kind of substance abuse as well. So we're probably going to see some more of the history of that as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this. And then we have one more section before we get to the Blackathon books. I am going to be doing my random picks again. If you don't know, this is a sort of kind of series I do with my TBRs whenever I do them. Most of the time, not quite. I just pick out 3 books from my Goodreads bookshelves. I pick them randomly using random number generator and sometimes your comments, although I haven't been asking for numbers lately. And yeah, I use those to pick out 3 books, and then I try to read one of those during the course of the month. This is just so I kind of get a feel for what's on my Goodreads TBR. Do I still want to read some of the books that I just add there willy-nilly? I feel like it's a good time. It gets me to read older books that I have come across and maybe forgotten about and stuff like that. Since it is Black History Month, I made my random picks only by Black authors, so I could continue that, which was easy for me because I have a shelf on my Goodreads that is like books by Black authors I want to read. It's called Black Author TBR if you want to see what's on my radar. My Goodreads is always linked down below. And I always accept friend requests. Sometimes it takes me a while because I'm lazy, but I will accept your friend requests. So the 3 books that the random number generator picked out for me were This Is Just My Face by Gabourey Sidibe. This is Gabourey's memoir type book, basically. She is probably most famous for her role in Precious, and she was also in the show Empire, although I stopped watching that, so I don't know if I think it's over now, right? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if she ends up getting like a bigger role in the show. But anyway, those are the two places that I know her from. And so this is just like her memoir. I actually do enjoy most celebrity memoirs. So this has been on my TBR for a while. I actually did start it a couple of years ago and I had to return it to the library. I wasn't that far in it, so it wasn't like a complete DNF for me. And I always wanted to get back to it, so it showed up with the random number generator, so maybe this month I'll be getting back to it. There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce by Morgan Parker. The Goodreads synopsis for this was very short, so I'm just gonna read it to you. I'm gonna put on my reading glasses. These are also my life glasses because I actually can't see without them. If I'm ever in a video without my glasses, I'm either filming like how I was, where I'm just not able to see, or I'm wearing contacts. A poetry collection described as unrelentingly feminist, tender, ruthless, and sequined. These poems are an altar to the complexities of Black American womanhood in an age of non-indictments and deja vu, and a time of wars over bodies and power. These poems celebrate and mourn. They are a chorus chanting, "You're gonna give us the love we need." So that sounds good to me. I'm excited for that. I actually have read from Morgan Parker before, taking off the glasses because I don't like the glare. That's the whole reason I film without being able to see, sorry. But like I was saying, I have read from Morgan Parker before. I didn't quite realize that. I realized her name sounded familiar, and she wrote a YA book that I read a couple of years ago. I actually did a vlog featuring it, so I'll link it down below because I think it's probably still good content, called Who Put This Song On. I did enjoy that book. It wasn't my favorite book ever, but I think based on that book, I couldn't be enjoying this poetry collection. And obviously since it's poetry, it'll be like a relatively quick read. And then the last random pick is Simone Breaks All the Rules by Debbie Rigaud. This follows a girl named Simone who, along with her fellow late bloomer friends, decide to make a senior year bucket list to do all the things she never got to do under the rules of her strict Haitian immigrant parents. So this intrigued me because Haitian immigrant parents, if you don't know, I also have Haitian immigrant parents. Any book featuring the Haitian diaspora piques my interest, you know, like to see. So I am looking forward to reading this. I think this might be the book that I end up reading for these random picks because, like I said, I only have to read 1 out of 3, and I don't technically have to read any of them because there's no punishment or anything. This is mostly to get books back on my radar, I guess, you know, that I may have forgotten about because my Goodreads, like my full Goodreads TBR is like 600, 700 books, I think. Now we are ready for the Blackathon TBR. Like I said, I'm picking 1 challenge from each team because once again I can, and once again you're not gonna stop me. So for Team Lit / contemporary / nonfiction, the challenge I chose was a book with neon on the cover. For this one, I'll be reading Simone Breaks All the Rules by Debbie Rigaud. Once again, the cover is a pretty bright neon pink in my opinion, so I feel like it counts. For Team Thriller Horror, I picked the challenge, a book with an adjective in the title, and for this I will be reading A Dead Gin in Cairo by P. Jelly Clark. So dead is working as an adjective here. It's describing the word gin. Also, this is a Tor.com novella, so it is free on the internet. I will leave the link down below. It's also on the Goodreads if you're interested in reading this, and also if you're interested in reading any Tor.com novellas. I didn't quite realize how you read a Tor.com novella. For some reason, Tor.com, I just figured that was what Tor was calling like an imprint based on their website, if that makes sense. Like I didn't think, although I guess they do print some of them. Anyway, I didn't realize that I could just read it online. I thought I had to like seek out the book and buy it. But anyway, you can read it online. You can read a lot of their novellas online. Once again, the synopsis is pretty short, so I put on my reading glasses to read it to you. In an alternate Cairo infused with the otherworldly, the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities investigate disturbances between the mortal and the possibly divine. What starts off as an odd suicide case for special investigator Fatma El-Sharari leads her through the city's underbelly as she encounters rampaging ghouls, saucy assassins, clockwork angels, and plot that could unravel time itself. So that sounds very intriguing and fun to me. I know that this is the first book in a series. I believe there are 2 other novellas besides this one, and then there's like the full first-length novel. I don't know if they're all direct sequels, if they'll all follow this detective or anything, but good to know. For Team Romance, I'm choosing the challenge, a book with a romance between 2 Black people. For this challenge, I will be reading Blackout by Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. So 6 authors. I'm quadrupling this challenge, I think. I don't know. 2 times 4, 8. I don't know. I'll do you 10 better than a book featuring 2 Black people in love. This is a book featuring 12 Black people in love. They're not all in love with each other. They're still in couples. But that would be a very interesting book. Anyway, this is a YA, I don't know if you would call this an anthology or a short story collection, or I still don't really know the difference between those 2 things. But basically each author wrote a short romance featuring 2 Black main characters that all take place during this blackout in New York City. They are all like interconnected, like some of the characters I think know each other, and they all are like heading to this block party in their neighborhood. I think that is what it is. Anyway, I've heard mixed things about this, but I was really excited when it came out, so I'm still holding out hope that I'll really enjoy it. And yeah, I've been really missing New York lately. Hopefully this might help a little bit with my homesickness. In case you don't know, I'm from New York. I have to announce it because that makes me cooler. Yeah. Anyway, and then the last team and the last challenge I'll be doing is for Team SFF, and the challenge is to read the group book. I will be reading the group book is Escaping Exodus by Nikki Drayden. This follows a woman who is the heir to the command of a biological city-sized starship that is made by carving up the insides of a spacefaring beast. So basically every 10 years, this community, this city basically commandeers one of these beasts, and they live inside of it, take all of the resources that seem to be inside of these beasts, and then once they deplete that creature, they go on to find another one. The synopsis says that the herd is diminishing. This book follows what happens after something goes terribly, terribly wrong. This has been on my TBR for quite a while. I got the Kindle edition of this book a couple of last year, maybe. When it was on sale. I haven't been waiting to read it, but you know, it just hasn't come up yet. But now it's come up, so I'm planning to read it. So those are all the books that I'm planning to read for Blackathon specifically. And I do have a couple of books that are on my radar that I want to share with you all, just to share what I'm currently thinking about reading. This is not like a promise that I'm going to read these books, but it's, you know, an idea. And sort of in line with my 2022 goals, I'm trying to read more books that I want to pick up like immediately. So these are like more on my mind. And I'm also trying to leave room for more books that I want to pick up immediately, but we'll just see what happens. So first we have Raybearer. I keep putting this in TBRs because I want to do a reread of this and I want to vlog it. I want to do it. I want to. I sound like I'm convincing myself I want to, but I do want to. I'm convincing you that I want to because it has been in so many TBRs. It must sound like I don't want to. But yes, if I just keep putting it in TBRs, it's going to happen eventually, right? That's my thought process. Raybearer is the first book in a fantasy duology series. I really, really love the first book when I read it, and I was planning to reread it to then read the second book, which I still haven't read. So I need to reread this so I can read the second book and then, I don't know, explode. I don't know if I'll have a purpose after that happens, but we'll see. Next on my radar is White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. I feel like it's like a tradition that I may have made up for me to read a Tiffany D. Jackson book during Black History Month every year. Yeah, but anyway, this is the last Tiffany D. Jackson book I need to read before I've completed her whole backlist of individual books. What is the word I'm looking for? Of like standalone novels that are written by, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, White Smoke follows Marigold when her family moves into their new house where weird things start happening, like household items disappearing, doors opening on their own, shadows walking past rooms, and a weird smell that only Marigold seems to notice. Not to mention that her 10-year-old stepsister keeps talking about a friend who wants Marigold gone. Marigold learns that her house and her new city has secrets, and secrets always find their way through the cracks. So that sounds intriguing to me. This is another one I've heard mixed things about, but I'm still excited. Hopefully I enjoy it. I think this is like my limit of horror scary, so we'll see how I feel about that level of anything, but we'll see. The Wicker King by Kay Ankrum. When August learns that his best friend Jack shows signs of degenerative hallucinatory disorder, he is determined to help Jack cope. Jack's vivid and long-term visions take the form of an elaborate fantasy world layered over our own, a world ruled by the Wicker King, as Jack leads him on a quest to fulfill a dark prophecy. So my memory card was full, so I'm not 100% sure where I left off, but basically this sounds like an intriguing book, and I will hopefully read it this month. We'll see if I have time. And the last book on this TBR slash books I'm intrigued in reading this month is Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford. This is Ashley C. Ford's memoir where she discusses life growing up as a poor Black girl with a fraught relationship with her mother and her father in prison for a crime she doesn't know about. In her search for unconditional love, Ashley starts dating a boy that her mother hates, but when the relationship turns sour, he assaults her. Still reeling from this and something that she keeps secret from her family, Ashley learns why her father is in prison, and that's where the story really begins. So yes, it sounds like it's gonna be very hard-hitting. It's gonna obviously deal with rape and sexual assault, and I have heard that it also deals with abuse. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it because I've heard like good things about Ashley C. Ford as a writer and like how she wrote this, not really for the content exactly. So that's the end of this TBR. I think this whole video is crooked because my tripod is broken, in case you were wondering. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. In the comments down below, let me know what you're planning to read for Black History Month, what you're planning to do for Black History Month. Leave me the specifically brown heart emoji in the comments down below. My phone has a brown heart. I don't know if everyone's phone has a brown heart, but if it doesn't, just leave any heart emoji in case you're not feeling chatty, but you still want to comment, leave your support, all that stuff. So I have some plans for this month for videos. I said that last year and failed, but this month, maybe. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in my next video. Bye.